Imagine a prison, but not a normal prison with cells and correction officers. Imagine a circular prison where the cells are arranged around a central tower. The prisoners can never see into the tower, but the tower always sees them. Because the prisoners never know when they're being watched, they assume that they're always being watched. And eventually, they stop breaking the rules, not out of compliance, but because they've imprisoned themselves in their own minds. This concept is called the panopticon, a theory from the 1700s. But in 1949, an author named George Orwell took it a step further in his book, 1984, and described a society ruled by a government that didn't just watch your actions, but policed your thoughts. Even if you thought something was against the rules, it was considered a thought crime. In Karma, the Dark World, they take this idea and force the player to ask a very disturbing question. If everything you thought and did was observed by a higher power, did you ever truly have control? Karma, the Dark World, is a first-person cinematic psychological horror set in a dystopian world. And today, we're going to be doing a full breakdown of the game, the technology behind its next-gen look, the controversy of its launch, the full, complex story of Daniel McGovern, and the terrifying lore of the Leviathan Corporation. But before jumping in, if you have been interested in playing Karma and don't want any spoilers, then here's your warning. Karma, the Dark World is the debut title from Pollard Studio, an indie team based in Shanghai, China. And when the first trailer dropped, it immediately stunned everybody. Not just because it was new, but because the game looked stunning visually. Built on Unreal Engine 5, the developers leaned heavily into Lumen for lighting and Nanite for geometry. But they weren't just chasing high pixel counts. Their goal was something they coined cinematic realism. And honestly, I would say they absolutely nailed it. With the blend of the 1980s aesthetic mixed with the high-fidelity visuals, this game looks incredible. However, that commitment to cinema came with a specific design choice that divided audiences. First, the pacing. Pollard Studio wasn't interested in making a shooter like Resident Evil, and instead opted for something slow, methodical, and heavy, which, honestly, I didn't mind at all. Second, and perhaps more controversial, were the game's inspirations. Karma blends the political horror of Orwell's 1984 with the surrealism of David Lynch, and the game drew heavy criticism for how aggressively it leaned on its inspirations. Specifically, there's a moment in the game that nearly recreates the Red Room from Twin Peaks, complete with the red curtains and the chevron floors. This created a massive divide, with some fans calling it plagiarism. However, the developers defended it and clearly stated that it was just a love letter to a director they idolize. Between the themes of political horror and the supernatural dream logic, Karma certainly is a unique game that doesn't work for everyone. But if you can get past the divisive inspirations and the slow burn, Karma the Dark World is a very interesting story. But before jumping in, you have to understand the villain. It's a corporation called Leviathan. Established in 1965, Leviathan is a totalitarian megacorp that functions exactly like the Party from Orwell's 1984. But they've updated the tyranny for modern age. The game begins with our protagonist waking up in a place with strange equipment on his body. He has no memory of who or where he is, but he finds a note that reads, "You people won't succeed. Come to the transition room after calibration."
What happened to me? Where am I?
Driven by the need for answers, we push forward through a series of calibration rooms, only to witness a grim dystopian nightmare. We enter a room filled with tubs, but inside, bodies are packed in like soil, almost like they're being grown like plants. We are then forced to dispose of a field experiment, and if you look closely, it's leaking the same exact black liquid as our protagonist. This eventually leads us to the transition room. At its center sits a wheelchair, sitting in a pool of black liquid. Here we meet an old man who instructs us to sit.
You have to put an end to this.
I just woke up in the room over there.
Looks like you're finally awake.
Do you know what this place is?
Yes, of course.
And those twisted things
don't
outside.
have the time for an explanation.
However, I should note that before you sit down, there is a collectible lying on the old man's desk, so make sure to grab it. The old man then reveals that he spent half his life serving Mother, the all-seeing AI system that monitors your very thoughts. He explains that countless experiments before us have failed, adding to the confusion. Yet, his tone shifts. He believes that this time the protagonist might actually succeed.
Why can't I recall anything?
You don't know who I am? Mother didn't tell you?
I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
Handing over a headset and a recorder, he tasks us with finding our own memories, revealing our name before we dive. Daniel.
Good luck, Daniel.
As the intro credits roll, we get a real glimpse into the core mechanic of the game, brain diving. As Daniel sinks through the credits, he isn't just listening to an audio log. He's physically projecting his consciousness into the memories of Daniel McGovern. We learn that Daniel is a roam agent for the Thought Bureau, tasked with monitoring what citizens hear and see. The year is 1976, and society is under absolute control of the Leviathan Corporation. They dictate where you work, who you marry, and what you think. It has taken Daniel 8 years to uncover his own identity, and his current mission brings him to the Winston Research Institute to investigate a clerk named Sean Mehndez.
I'm Daniel McGovern, a roam agent from the Thought Bureau. My company ID is 8490.
Rome, huh? I'm Fred Ebert, the current chief of this facility. Welcome to the Winston Research Institute. It's the back door, to be precise. I often hear that you people don't talk a lot. I thought this was just an ordinary theft. I never imagined a case like this would trouble a roam agent. Looks like there's more to it. You see, as a level B citizen, I'm familiar with your rules. Outsiders like me should not question, nor intervene.
Listen, Mr. Ebert. You only have to tell me where the mailroom is. I need to receive a document from the Thought Bureau right now. Please don't
Hey,
hold me up
calm
in my
down.
duties.
I know you're here to look into that freak, Sean Mehndez. To your left, in the room where the lights are still on.
And as we explore the mailroom, we begin to understand the deep corruption within Leviathan. Notes show that the CEO, Fred, has been accepting bribes for years, and the Thought Bureau hasn't done a single thing about it. And if we continue reading the messages, it gives us a closer look into the society Leviathan runs. Everything is based off your social level and karma. People with lower social levels, such as Hans, receive less social credits, which can determine your quality of life, even dictating if you can afford to have a child. And if we crack open our inventory, we can see that Daniel has a social level of C.
Mr. Ebert? Perhaps he went home. Good timing to take a look upstairs.
With Fred seemingly gone for the day, Daniel heads to the second floor. After finding a fuse and restoring the electricity, the real investigation begins.
Nice. All I have to do now is find Sean Mendez's desk.
Searching the desks, Daniel finds a diary belonging to a coworker named Emily, which reveals that Sean has been acting highly suspicious since transferring to the office 6 months ago. She notes that he's the only person who changes his desk password every single morning, and eventually we crack Sean's desk, uncovering a piece of evidence that must be submitted to the Bureau.
Well done, Roam Agent. Please turn in all evidence through the pneumatic tube. You will then proceed to interrogate the criminal who betrayed the company. But remember, if I serve...
I will echo.
But as we turn to leave, we catch a glimpse of Sean himself.
Sean?
Driven by a mix of confusion and perhaps a lingering sense of guilt, we follow him straight into the Red Room. The Red Room is a fascinating section of the game, serving as a bridge between the real world and the mind world, a homage to David Lynch's Twin Peaks, and the creative choice that sparked some controversy at launch. Trapped inside, Daniel has to navigate the shifting environment, and as you move through the room, the mannequins dynamically change scenes, hinting at the events that took place with Sean's family, eventually revealing an elevator. This takes Daniel down to a central room, featuring a hanging recorder, a sealed black sphere, and a cassette tape labeled Dasein 012.
Time is now 9:45 p.m. Concluding test 25. Damn it.
Is that Sean?
Here, the game introduces a loop mechanic. As we cycle through these repeating rooms, we acquire a flashlight and a series of Dasein tapes that slowly piece together the grim reality of what's happening.
I want to die! I don't want to die! Daniel, I still have a child!
What? Me?
As Daniel presses forward, he enters a room with Sean tied up, and in order for Daniel to proceed, he must cripple this manifestation of Sean. After ripping off his leg, the path is revealed, and Daniel jumps down the hole. Breaking the loop, Daniel finds himself in a new room with Mother, watching his every move. Here, we uncover a transfer letter detailing the fallout of Sean's injury. Sean had applied for workplace injury assessment, but the evidence gathered concluded that his leg injury was not caused by research activities. As such, his absence from work for the past 6 months has been treated as absenteeism, and he was fired from the physics research lab. But because Leviathan operates on a twisted, all-for-one philosophy, where the company is absolute, they graciously, quote-unquote, relocated him to a clerical office. We also find one of Sean's bills in this room, and holy fuck, you could call this hyperinflation, but honestly, it's just corporate slavery. Adding to the tragedy, we find a diary left behind by Sean's daughter, Grace. She writes that ever since the incident, Sean's right leg has been cold as wood. He struggles to move, and the financial ruin is tearing his marriage apart. Sean can no longer make ends meet, leaving the family with no hot water, no electricity, and constantly living in fear. We then receive a teddy bear missing a leg, a dark parallel to Sean, and continue through the Red Room loop. This time, the room is completely trashed, and Grace's notes reveal that Sean's wife finally left him. Daniel then has to collect the remaining teddy bears to complete the next puzzle. Once the puzzle is solved and we try to leave, the room loops again, taking a much more morbid atmosphere. Mother is still watching, but now the mannequins are suspended, floating midair.
War, peace, freedom, slavery, ignorance, strength.
As we proceed through the room, a phone rings, and when Daniel answers, a cryptic message plays, acting as a clue for the next puzzle. But I should note that there is another achievement here. If you complete the puzzle with no errors, you should get a trophy or an achievement. After identifying the correct door, Daniel steps into a surreal space surrounded by giant mannequins representing Sean's broken family. As we walk towards Grace's mannequin, bills literally start stacking up on the table, visually representing his crushing debt. Daniel then drops down a hole, restarting the loop. This time, we uncover a note addressed to Heidi, Sean's ex-wife. The note casually states that Sean was tragically killed during an investigation, and in classic dystopian fashion, Leviathan reassures her that they'll provide basic social security until her child reaches adulthood, because they always look after their employees. But stepping inside Grace's room reveals a horrifying reality. As Daniel approaches the mannequin, a swarm of rodents scatters. We then find Grace's final diary entry, where she writes that her mom has been gone for 131 days, and her dad hasn't been home for 3. This is when the player realizes that after Sean died, somebody, either the Bureau or Heidi, tried to collect Grace, but because Sean had strictly warned her never to open the door for strangers, she starved to death, alone in the house. Daniel finally locates the exit, but when he tries playing his tape recorder, a monster pushes him down a hole.
What? No! Ah! My head. What happened? Was I dreaming?
He abruptly wakes up, back in the Institute, and after submitting the evidence he gathered, Daniel heads to the Thought Bureau. But it's on this walk that we get our first real glimpse into the dystopian world of karma.
Bureau, ma'am. I order you to open the door.
Thought Bureau agents patrol the streets with literal TVs for heads, symbolizing the overwhelming influence of media, propaganda, and loss of individuality. We also witness a public broadcast announcing that Shawn Mehndez has been arrested for treason and collaborating with the enemy, adding a massive layer of complexity to the tragedy we just witnessed. And as we arrive at the Thought Bureau, we're greeted by a public execution. Upon arriving at the Thought Bureau, Daniel prepares for another dive. But before he proceeds, he has a brief, unsettling conversation with another Rome agent who describes the disturbing toll that brain diving has on the mind.
When I dive into their hands, merge with them, those people, my body's obliterated in the blink of an eye, then bam, I'm stuffed into another body. Those smells, those sensations.
Rome Agent 5089.
Daniel is then summoned to his dive room, but before he departs, the agent begs him not to report their conversation to Mother. Stepping into the dive room, we quickly realize that it's just a fancy term for an interrogation room. And here we have options. We can review the case file to get Mother's version of the facts, analyze the subject, or just jump straight into the interrogation.
The interrogation subject is Shawn Mehndez, male, 34 years old, currently a clerk at the Winston Research Institute. The company received a report today claiming that Shawn is closely linked to the recent disappearances of numerous confidential research documents. The Thought Bureau sent Rome agent Daniel McGovern to investigate. He found the product of the company's confidential research, a miniature Dasein device, in Shawn's desk drawer. Shawn's fingerprints are confirmed to be present on the device.
When the interrogation begins, Shawn mentions the same monster Daniel saw earlier. Driven by a need for answers, Daniel initiates a brain dive into Shawn's mind.
Just before you arrested me, I got attacked. That monster.
Monster? What do you mean? Shawn?
No one believes me. But that monster really exists. That thing, it took my leg. I didn't think it would show up again. I shouldn't have been eavesdropping on them. They must be the ones who let the monster out.
We then drop into the first memory, which was on Grace's birthday.
No, please, I beg you, I don't want to go through this again.
Shawn is working late when the power suddenly goes out, turning the office into pitch darkness. Shortly after, the monster appears.
What's the test subject, David?
Dormant, as usual.
From now on, I'll deliver the bodies around this time. You'll take them to cold storage.
Understood. Professor, I can feel that his body is still mutating from the Dasein injection.
Dasein? We'll try our best to contain the test subject.
Understood. Professor, is there a way to free his consciousness from that huge body? Just like you and...
No, don't kill me.
The gameplay then shifts to Shawn, forcing us to desperately sneak past the monster, though the stealth quickly turns into a chase scene.
Oh, scheiße. No, go away! No!
Shawn manages to escape into a vent, where he begins reminiscing about Grace and promises to return to her. However, exiting the vent brings him to a chilling room. We see framed portraits of Mother and signs commanding obey lining the ceiling, leading toward a mountain of televisions stacked in the shape of a Christmas tree, draped in lights and topped with a star. And as we explore this room, we can gather more notes to understand a bit more of the story. We uncover disturbing reports about an employee from the 13th floor who was isolated for treatment. It appears that he was overworked to the point of physical mutation, causing his head to literally transform into a TV. Before his isolation, he claimed he was being stalked, though surveillance footage dismissed his fears as just hallucinations. We then find a note detailing a black sedan with no license plates, reportedly snatching people off the streets, and it also implies that the blue bottles are part of a deeper company-sanctioned operation. Another employee reports seeing a creepy young man, possibly a new intern, lurking around the office. We can also tell that this employee's mental health is in rapid decline, despite consuming 6 blue bottles, and still feeling exhausted. And near the end, they describe a man staring at them with an unnerving smile, only to realize that moments later, no one was ever there. In another note, someone writes about newspapers claiming a simple and safe cure for all mental disorders. The employee decides to undergo the surgery, and they confess that they've had a deep depression following a breakup, admitting they forced themselves to work as a distraction, but it ultimately backfired, leaving them crippled with anxiety instead. On the 17th, they went in for the procedure, but the aftermath is chilling. The anxiety is gone, but so is their humanity. In the final entries, they're stripped of all human will, only focused to work. After searching the room, Sean will need to carry a TV and dispose of it, and when he does, the TVs in the room change the channel to a screen with different people watching him. Afterwards, Sean goes to work in a very boring segment where he's fed propaganda until he's introduced to blue bottles, which he can take to regain focus. But I think it is also important to point out that as a trophy hunter, there is an achievement to be aware of in this section. If you finish Sean's shift without making a mistake, such as stamping the desk, or stamping without inking, then you'll be awarded an achievement. As we continue through Sean's shift, we realize that he isn't just working. He's a slave to the system, and the only way to endure is by numbing himself with a blue bottle. Sean eventually breaks down as the scene fades to black. He then wakes up in a room with a static TV that has a note hanging from it. The note details that after different studies, the blue bottle drug increases productivity, but it also has notable side effects, including moderate addiction, anxiety, and withdrawal symptoms that can lead to irritability. Moving deeper into the memory, we're tasked with reconnecting a roam agent's severed head to its body, and completing it triggers the environment to shift. The TV flickers on, illuminating a new path forward. But Sean isn't alone. He realizes the monster is stalking him here, and after a desperate escape sequence, Sean eventually stumbles into the Winston Institute. But safety is an illusion. The monster ambushes him, grabbing hold, and in a moment of pure body horror, a head emerges from within the creature's torso and says, "Cassette."
You've already taken one of my legs. What more do you want? I'm begging you. I have a kid. I haven't gotten to say goodbye. Don't kill me.
The connection then severs and we jump back to Daniel. The first memory has been observed, but the mystery is only deepening. Daniel dives back in for the second memory. Here we find Sean sitting in a dark room, defeated.
I don't know where to begin. Grace. Oh, my starlight. My radiant moon. My smart, beautiful daughter. I love you more than anything in the world. To the moon and back. I should have been a better father. I focused too much on my career. I was always gone, leaving early and getting home late. Now you're older, I've let too much time slip by. Time I should have spent with you. I tried to fix everything. I even tried starting over. I tried to become the scientist dad you love and adore. But no one believed me. Everyone was the same. Even your mother. The path gets more and more difficult. It is all messed up. It's clear to me now. This isn't the right path. But it will make our lives better. Oh, Grace, now karma strikes. I can live with the consequences of my choices. But what about you, my precious girl? I don't know who can help us, or who will trust me. You. Will you help me?
Mother, requesting suspension of brain dive.
And as the scene fades, Sean seems to sense Daniel's presence, asking him directly if he can help him. Daniel decides to suspend the dive to negotiate, and they strike a deal. If Daniel can guarantee the safety of Sean's daughter from Leviathan, Sean agrees to reveal everything that he knows about the monster. Daniel sends this request to Mother, secures the clearance, and then prepares to dive back into Sean's mind.
For your child, and for yourself.
Let's make a deal, Agent McGovern. If, I'm saying only if, promise me the Thought Bureau will protect my child from those bastards. Then I'll show you the truth about this monster.
Mother, I use my authority as a Rome agent to request protection for Grace Mehndez.
Request approved. The Thought Bureau has been informed.
This time, we wake up in the EM lab, from Sean's perspective. And here, the game finally clarifies the nature of the black substance.
This is the EM lab, and this is Technician Sean. It's January 28th, 9:40 p.m. I'm conducting peer review of the energy absorption properties of the new substance, Dasein. After colliding with the rays, Dasein has turned into spherical form, which makes it easier to observe. The test device is functioning as per normal. I'll test using gamma rays of different intensities, preparing for testing.
In the lab, we witness Dasein colliding with energy rays, stabilizing it into a spherical form. Sean is tasked with finishing the experiment, but as we work, the power cuts, and checking through the facility documents reveals that, after 21:45, the lab is strictly off limits. Any employee found staying late is subject to investigation by Leviathan. But while trying to leave, Sean spots the professor disposing of a dead body.
Professor, all Matchbox members have left. The Dasein supply has been connected to them as well.
Yeah, good. I'm bringing his food to the 33rd floor. If you're at 3304, please open the door for me.
Sure. Unlocking it now.
Instead of fleeing, he chooses to investigate. He then eavesdrops on the conversation, finally pulling out his recorder, bringing the Dasein cassette tape from earlier full circle.
Understood. Professor, I can feel that his body is still mutating from the Dasein injection.
Dasein. We'll try our best to contain the test subject.
Understood. Professor, is there a way to free his consciousness from that huge body? Have you and...
Who's there?
It was the body falling onto the floor.
The deeper Sean pushes, the more unstable his cerebral status becomes. He refuses to back down, ignoring the corpses surrounding him, and eventually uncovers a document referencing an experiment named Lucas. It's then revealed that Lucas is the monster, and the disposed bodies are being fed to him, as Lucas is getting hungrier. But as we continue pushing deeper, Sean's mind begins a violent cerebral rejection. The dive destabilizes, and as Daniel presses forward, Sean panics. Physical manifestations of his rejection materialize, trying to block Daniel's path. Daniel, cold and confused, reminds Sean of their deal, essentially forcing Sean's consciousness to hack away at itself, until he reaches a memory of a couch where he's holding his daughter, Grace.
Dive subject silent. Cerebral rejection ceased. Restoring synchronization rate.
Daniel then seizes full control and approaches Lucas, grabbing a tape along the way.
I tried transferring Lucas's brain to the test subject, but I failed. The test subject lacks any form of autonomous behavior other than maintaining the basic functions of life. Currently, the test subject relies solely on nutrient fluids for survival. His status is deteriorating. Maybe there's nothing I can do. With the equipment they provide, I can transfer my mind into the test subject and eat on his behalf. For a moment, I felt as if I could talk to him within the test subject. Though it was vague, I know it's him. His body. He's rotting.
However, when confronting Lucas, the real Sean intervenes, fighting to eject Daniel from his mind. Realizing the danger, Daniel begs Mother to terminate the dive, but before the disconnection completes, Lucas lunges, grabbing Sean.
Termination in progress. Termination countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Daniel wakes up, but Sean is still trapped inside. Daniel then begs Mother to cut the connection, but Mother waits until it best suits the company, severing the link only when she's ready, killing Sean in the process.
You lied to me!
Mother!
Sean,
take us out of here!
Warning, Sean Mehndez showing brain rejection. Warning, Sean Mehndez showing high intracranial pressure.
Hey, Sean, look at me, control yourself! The real you isn't here! Mother! Cut the connection!
Emergency termination activated.
Sean!
I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Daniel, I still
Warning,
haven't
subject
died.
showing severe brain hemorrhage.
Mother, why are we still here?
I don't want to die. Save me. I don't want to die. Why? Why are you just like the others?
No! Mother! Terminate the connection!
Forced connection channel activated.
Mother!
Putting the pieces together, Sean's story is heartbreaking. He worked as a scientist until his leg injury, then was demoted and could no longer make ends meet, forcing him to steal from the company in order to put food on the table. Sadly, his wife soon left him, and ultimately, he died.
Warning, subject showing critical brain hemorrhage.
What are you doing?
Subject showing unstable and high intracranial pressure. Warning, subject is in hemorrhagic shock.
Will you help me?
But before passing, we're introduced to Rachel, the woman who's been talking to the professor over the radio.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. None of this should have happened.
Daniel wakes up to Sean, whose head exploded, and is immediately questioned by Mother.
What have I done?
Agent McGovern, we need you to answer several questions.
We then time travel back to 15 minutes before the incident and wake up as a younger Daniel. As we sit down at the dinner table, things are hazy and confusing, and we notice that the faces of Daniel's parents are redacted. However, the conversation is soon interrupted and Daniel must hide.
Is that the tutor?
Shh.
Daniel, quick. Go hide in that cupboard.
We then cut to the next act, 1 hour after Sean has passed away. Daniel begins hallucinating and losing it, but regains control and is told to report to the homeroom where he meets Rachel Weis, the researcher from earlier whom's turned herself in voluntarily.
Room agent 8490, please report to homeroom.
room for the interrogation of suspect Rachel Weis.
The two have a brief chat before moving into the dive room and beginning the interrogation.
Should I address you as Daniel McGovern?
The first memory picks up after Sean saw Lucas and provides a better understanding of what happened. Daniel then questions Rachel about the professor.
Who? Who saw it?
Sean Mehndez. He's still lying downstairs. I'm sorry. It's all my fault. Should I kill him? He was carrying a recorder. He recorded a vital conversation between us. What if others learn of this?
No. We don't kill. Have you retrieved the recorder?
Yes, Professor.
Calm down, Rachel. First, use the ID I gave you to delete all the relevant research data that Lucas has obtained. Then, send me the recorder. I'll take care of the rest.
Yes, Professor.
But Rachel's different. She resists the dive and instead traps Daniel. She then alludes that the player's memories might not be real and might only be fabrications picked out by Mother.
You don't get to choose to see the events that led up to these memories, or what transpired after. They're picked out for you by Mother.
What? Mother! What are you doing to me, Rachel?
Have you ever thought about it? Perhaps even just once given it some serious thought?
Mother?
Just what kind of memories make us the people we are?
Call the Thought Bureau!
She then pulls Daniel back into the past, helping our mother around the house. But soon, the house begins to change, becoming more ominous. We find a volume of 1984, a heavy inspiration for the game, and use it to open a secret passage. Following the path, we reach a room which seems to be Daniel's father's testing lab. Here, we find Polaroids of monkeys and notes detailing the animal experiments. We also find a small dosing sphere, and as we continue exploring, Daniel hears Lisa telling him he needs to snap out of it.
Daniel, listen to me. You need to wake up. Open the camera in front of you. Open it.
He then opens a camera, looks into it, and takes a photo of an eye.
Now, press the shutter button.
If we take a moment to pause, we can also see that this camera belongs to Lisa, the woman Daniel has been hearing in his head throughout the game. We then must use the camera to take photos of those eyeballs, destroying all of them in the process, which comes back full circle later.
Yay! My plane flew further than yours.
However, when Daniel begins looking for his mother, he hears a knock at the door, and before answering it, the home becomes distorted. As Daniel turns around, he sees a mannequin of his mother staring right at Mother. When he pulls out the camera, his mother turns into a monster who tries to murder him. After defeating the monster, Daniel then wakes up next to his mother and is forced to kill her, freeing him of Rachel's trap.
Why are you loyal to Leviathan? Die! Stay with me forever in this beautiful dream!
No, don't!
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You psycho! Do you realize what you've done? You killed your own mother!
No, it wasn't real. I have no memory of that woman. She's not my mother.
We then switch to Rachel's memories and wake up in a cardboard house. Here, we soon learn that the Winston Research Institute has sent many letters to her home address, yet she hasn't gotten any letters. However, the caller demands her to find one and send back one of the letters.
No, that's what I've always wanted. Forgive me, but
Could they have been sent to the wrong address? I haven't received a single letter from you.
As the house transitions to a normal one, we do find the offer letter, and Rachel was accepted into the Institute. We can also find a piece of a note. Piecing together the note, her parents have been watching her, and note that as long as she doesn't receive the offer of employment, she can't leave. Another note details Rachel becoming adept at entertaining men, but needs to relocate closer to the city because that's where all the big shots live. Through flashback conversations, the notes, and her stroll down the alley, getting catcalled in the process, it's heavily implied that Rachel's parents forced her into prostitution and she's desperately trying to escape.
I saw our department chief following her mum down there.
Fortunately, Rachel begins working for the Institute and moves up the ranks pretty quickly.
Fuck this family. I'm honoured and surprised that he gave me the opportunity to study Dasein. So many extraordinary things can be created with Dasein.
During Rachel's time at the Institute, she becomes obsessed with Dasein, but loses Subject 114 and begins to panic.
Dasein's very existence is top secret. I must find 114.
However, she meets a man named Lucas, who delivers the subject back to her. Lucas became the bright spot in Rachel's world, falling madly in love with each other.
Sorry to disturb you. You look really flustered. Anything I can do to help?
Flustered? No, but thanks for offering. I don't need anyone's help.
Hey, is this what you're looking for?
114! You found it! Sorry. You're right, I was all over the place just now, but thank you.
Hey, I feel terrible whenever I go back to the lab and see that the flowers that were in full bloom the day before have all withered and died. But that's just the way it is. Don't beat yourself up. I'll help you catch the next one that gets away.
Huh. Thank you. By the way, what are you here for?
Sorry, I forgot to say there's a brand new reagent. Mr. Ebert asked me to get it. By the way, I'm Lucas. I work on the botany lab on level 7.
In a fleeting moment of connection, Lucas and Rachel share a daydream. They talk about plants blooming, a vision to evoke warmth and beauty. But reading these lines, I believe that this is actually a dark parallel to the horrifying test subjects we saw growing in the tubs at the beginning of the game. The illusion of their daydream shatters the moment Lucas reveals his plan for them to leave the city together. Rachel instantly grows cold, shutting him out entirely. Their emotional disconnect then manifests physically, forcing them to wander aimlessly through a surreal maze until their paths finally cross. The scene then shifts, and Daniel steps into a dark, oppressive room. At the center sits Rachel, keeping watch over a hospitalized, incapacitated Lucas. As Daniel approaches, Rachel acknowledges his presence, noting that if he's managed to make it this deep into the dive, he must have potential. She then offers Daniel to join her cause, but the offer is a trap. Before Daniel can react, Rachel imprisons him.
This mother that you all worship, has she made this city any better? If my father hadn't joined the war effort, if he hadn't been a part of Leviathan's attack on this city, he wouldn't be drowning himself in alcohol every day, and he wouldn't have ended up like this. Lucas wouldn't have...
The past cannot be changed. Now, Rachel, you have to take me out of this place and tell me who is the one behind all this.
Join us, Daniel. If you decide to join us, I'll take you to see the one behind all this. I believe in the Professor's plan.
Who is the Professor?
Only he can lead this city to a better future.
What plan?
Say yes. Say you'll join us. Then I'll tell you. Yes. Yes. Say yes to her. Say yes to her. The Professor was wrong about you.
Daniel abruptly wakes up in a pitch-black room, accompanied by only a wardrobe, and in an unsettling exchange, a voice from inside the wardrobe claims to be Rachel's parent. The entity offers to help Daniel escape, but demands a toll. We have to hand over Rachel's personal belongings. After making the morbid trade, the path opens to a massive new chamber dominated by a giant, pulsating Dasein sphere. It's being kept alive by giant tubes feeding directly into it. And to progress, Daniel has to destroy the life support system, which becomes a pretty heavy sequence. As we're forced to physically rip out the beating hearts of each tube, Rachel's voice echoes through the chamber, desperately begging us to stop. After Daniel destroys all the tubes, he approaches Lucas before collapsing. The wardrobe demands Daniel to act like the sheep that he is and kill Lucas so Rachel can come home to her parents. As Daniel shoots Lucas, we cut to a flashback of Rachel trying to save his life.
You have to hold on. Lucas, don't leave me. You promised me.
Rachel's story is one of love and tragedy. Ever since her adolescence, her parents prostituted her out to wealthy individuals in order to live a lavish lifestyle. When she finally escaped and began working for the Institute, she became obsessed with Dasein, but also fell in love with a man named Lucas. When Lucas wanted to leave the city, Rachel became immediately cold, refusing to throw away her years of work and research. Lucas ended up seriously injured during Leviathan's attack, and the only way to save him was with Dasein, ultimately turning him into a monster. Rachel then points Daniel to the truth, while spending her final moments with Lucas.
He once said he couldn't live in a world without me. Now I'm the one who can't live without him in my life. We're two souls in a single body. We'll never be apart again, Lucas.
It's all over, Rachel.
I don't have much time left. Truth is over there. Please, let me be with him in our final moments.
Daniel then grabs a photo of himself, and we cut to Rachel's final memory.
Why does it have to be me?
Little lamb, there's really no difference between you and me.
A meeting between the professor, Fred Ebert, and Rachel. It's revealed that Fred was the only one willing to help Rachel and Lucas, regardless of whether it was out of kindness or just something personal he wants to achieve. It's also confirmed that both Lucas and Rachel are connected, which has pushed Rachel's body to the limit. She then begs the professor to be with Lucas in her final moments, whatever the cost.
How do you know if his consciousness is still in his body anyway? Huh? Over the years, your body has been paying the price every time you manipulate his body to feed and conduct experiments.
Daniel then wakes up to Mother, who states that she's observed him for a long time, but didn't see any images or any memories of both Daniel and Rachel. She then asks if he has anything to report. Daniel questions how Fred has his photo, but as he looks up, Rachel's dead.
Rachel?
Please answer my question.
Rachel? Mother, please tell me the suspect's life signs.
Suspect Rachel Weis. Brain dead. 8490. Please answer my question.
Mother, everything.
We then cut to 5 minutes before the incident.
Hush, not a sound, no matter what happens.
Leviathan demands to know where the children are. But before opening the cupboard Daniel's hiding in, we hear his mother yell, Lisa.
Pull her to the side.
No, no, Daniel! Lisa!
We then jump to 90 minutes after Rachel's death. Daniel realizes that all of the clues have pointed to Fred Ebert and decides to investigate before Leviathan catches on to him. In Fred's office, Daniel finds a note that mentions an old acquaintance of Fred's, Professor McGovern. It goes on to say that the professor and the children deeply influenced by him would have made outstanding contributions to the company if it weren't for a tragic accident. We can also uncover a report letter in Fred's desk, hinting that he caught Hans trying to report his bribes. Daniel eventually finds a hidden room behind a bookcase. Inside the room, he finds a photo of himself, but more disturbingly, he finds Fred Ebert dead, holding a torn photo of Daniel's parents with the word gold written on the back. In an official Gold Rush report, it's revealed that the team discovered multiple research facilities of defeated nations 800 meters below the Winston Institute. All scientists and equipment within the facilities were destroyed by unknown creatures. The team then used a giant magnetic field to seal the crater, but an unknown black liquid labeled dacine began to flow out of the crater. The Gold Rush team then launched an in-depth research on the substance and began initiating the New World Plan. A few years later, Fred Ebert and the professor proposed using dacine as an energy source to restart the New World for defeated nations, officially launching the research of the Mother Project. Using the research results of the Mother Project, Leviathan Technology Company was officially established. The Winston Institute was then rebuilt and Fred became the chief scientist. During the dacine research, Fred and two redacted figures, presumably the professor and Rachel, had an accident which resulted in the injuries to someone's children, presumably Lisa and Daniel. Fred then reported that the professor and Rachel concealed the truth about the accident during the dacine research, which leads Fred and the Leviathan agents to the professor's house, leading up to the flashback that we keep seeing as a younger Daniel. The note ends stating that the professor's children were taken in by the Leviathan Corporation. Daniel then must finish the evidence board. After completing the board, the power goes out and the photos now spell home. When Daniel tries to leave, his cerebral status becomes unstable and he gets knocked out. Daniel then blacks out and wakes up back in the room with the professor.
Where am I?
You're awake. This is my lab.
Here, the professor reveals that he's Daniel's father, Brian.
You? How about getting to know you? Or like family members who haven't seen each other in years. Let's talk about the past.
What are you talking about?
He also confirms that Daniel has a sister, Lisa. Brian then reveals everything. Daniel and Lisa were exposed to dacine, which gave them unique powers. Fred then betrayed Brian, leading to Leviathan killing his wife and stealing his children. Having lost everything, Brian then built a plan to reunite with his son, Daniel.
I'm glad to see that you've grown, son.
What are you saying?
I hope I've not spooked you. This half of my body is useless. If your big sister hadn't been so naughty...
Sister...
Hey!
No! What are you saying?
Calm down, young man. You don't have to recall everything all at once.
Who are you? What do you want with me? What is that? Ah!
There, it's all right. You must have been here at some point in time, somewhere in the depths of your memory. But Leviathan has altered your brain. These broken images must have made you feel confused at times.
No. Stop.
I know that feeling, Daniel. I know as it is one of the results of my research. Never in my wildest dreams did I imagine that Mother would eventually apply what I did for her to my son.
What are you doing?
I'm going to bring you back and help you find your lost memories, Daniel. About the very beginning of this whole plan, I know you have many questions. All right, then. You may have realized how Fred and I came to know each other. The fact is, many years ago, we were members of an organization known as Gold Rush. We were sent to this city and created everything here.
Daniel, Leviathan's agent. In 3 days, I will create an opportunity for you to attack someone.
Who?
Sean Mehndez.
Professor, I don't understand. Isn't he the one who...
I will create this opportunity precisely because he has those bad habits.
So I will put that pen recorder in his locker again.
But he's already...
I wouldn't feel sorry for him if I were you.
Sean Mehndez, a smuggler and a thief. He's as much a criminal as the others.
Do I need to kill him?
You just need to create a distraction and take the cassette from him.
I'll contact my people in Leviathan and tell them to bring Daniel here.
Once Daniel learns about what happened between you and Sean, he'll surely notify the Thought Bureau immediately. Don't hesitate. You must go to the Bureau that very night and turn yourself in. Keep him busy with these crimes, but try not to arouse Mother's suspicion.
Professor, I can do it. As long as it helps your cause. But he's a Thought Bureau agent. If he sees my memory, he'll see you as well. Or is that what you want? For him to come and look for you?
I have faith in my children. They are my future.
Wake up.
Daniel, have you really forgotten her?
During this emotional exchange, Brian tells Daniel what Mother is truly after, Daniel's sister, Lisa. She wants Lisa's power and unlimited freedom, but she doesn't know that Daniel is the key, and Mother can only discover Lisa's secret when Daniel's dead.
Lisa is your sister. That was the very day that our family was forever separated. This is all my fault. Fred and I were studying the Dasein leak that caused both you and Lisa to be infected. Even though your lives were not in danger, Lisa's body underwent some similar changes.
No, Daniel, no, stop.
Daniel! Your soul and Lisa's are interconnected. As long as you are around, Lisa will never lose control.
My child, you must take good care of yourself. Go on, you monster, do it!
People like Mother and Fred may never appreciate the significance of the soul.
As Lisa uses her powers, she permanently injures her father in the process.
They took you and Lisa. Stop! Stop, you!
Should we bring this child back to the company?
Remember to wipe his memory clean. I don't want him seeking revenge. Ugh. Why does this place smell so bad? You deserve it.
Oh, no, Michelle. I've lost everything.
Brian then tells Daniel that there is a way to stop Mother. He planted a consciousness virus in Daniel's brain, and when others come to view this memory, Brian will devour them, and subsequently all that Leviathan owns. But for this virus to work, they need to create a crucial event, and just as Daniel reunites with his father for the first time since he was a child, he now must kill him.
I have failed in my duty as a father. I failed to protect my family. But as a man, I will not spare anyone who dares destroy our family. That's what I've been doing all these years. You need to protect your sister. You know that, don't you?
I do, Father.
No, you don't. After I've gained control of Fred's brain, I finally understood what Mother is really after. She wants Lisa's power. She wants unlimited freedom, but what she doesn't know is you are the key. Mother can only discover Lisa's secret when you are dead.
The key?
Mother will surely know that you have come to see me. I've thought of countless ways to save you. Countless. One day, she'll find out. But there's a way to stop her.
What? No. I promise you, I will keep the secret safe.
As Brian's body fades, the virus infiltrates Daniel's mind. The environment shatters, and Brian, or what's left of him, goes on a rampage, tearing apart Leviathan and literally everything in his path, including us. During the chase, Daniel falls, impaling his leg. Lisa's voice then suddenly cuts through, urging him to focus on what lies ahead. And just as the virus closes in, Lisa intervenes. She shields Daniel while also somehow calming the raging form of her father.
How about this? Give me some time. Behave yourself, Father.
You saved me. Your voice. It's you. The voice in my head. Who are you?
I'm Lisa. Lisa McGovern.
She then tells the player that she's been observing him since he entered Daniel's mind. She then asks for Daniel's cassette player, puts on the headset, and tells the player that it's time to look for her brother. As the two walk through hyperdimensional space, looking for things related to Daniel, Lisa reveals that she isn't actually a child. She only looks this way because that's the only image of her that exists within Daniel's frozen memory. But as she regains her strength, she's noticed Daniel's condition is rapidly deteriorating. Leviathan wanted to use Lisa as a weapon, but Brian, her father, knew this, so he turned his son's mind into a trap, created a cognitive virus, and hid it deep in Daniel's mind. And the trigger for the virus was simple: the truth. If Daniel ever remembered what Leviathan did to his family, the virus would activate and wipe out the Bureau's entire network. Lisa can now cross over, but she doesn't think Daniel will make it, confirming the biggest plot twist in the game. You, the player, are not Daniel. You're a random agent of the Bureau. Leviathan captured the real Daniel years ago, and they've been forcing agents to dive into his mind, trying to extract the secret of how to control Lisa. The old man in the wheelchair? That is the real Daniel McGovern. He's old, broken, and dying. Lisa reveals that she's been observing the player the entire time and decides to save us because of the empathy we showed to the memories. We help Lisa restore one final memory, a family photo taken before the horror began. The Leviathan network then crashes, and we're finally face to face with the real Daniel.
It's being restored.
What's going to happen next? Why don't you kill me? Like your father said.
Because you're a good person. Whether it's in this space or another space, you're a good person. You just don't know it.
When all this is over, can I go back?
Yes, when all this is over.
I'll keep the secret safe.
You should know more than I do about how Leviathan operates. If you fail to keep the secret, I'll kill you before it happens. You, in any time, any space. In the past or the future.
Gone. All gone.
Shh. Stay right here.
When we finally see the real Daniel again, he's completely gone and can't even recognize himself. But in his final moments, clarity returns, and he realizes that his big sister is finally with him.
Daniel?
Do you know who I am? Can you help me look at this?
Hi, Daniel.
Do you know my parents? They're in this photo. But I can no longer see them clearly. Mutter? Ojciec? Mom? I think my mother is calling me. She's calling me to dinner. Do you hear?
Oh, my little brother.
Dad, I failed to protect her. I didn't keep my promise. I don't want to stay in this lonely castle anymore. I can't take it.
Castle?
Dad, this is the castle. I feel that this world is like a castle, built from countless grains of sand, standing on a beach, covered with clouds, as the black waves continuously beat against it. I can't hold on much longer. I'm trapped here forever. I will be completely forgotten. Father!
You've done very well, little brother. You've done very well.
But the castle... I want to see the secret again. I will never see it again.
My little brother, trust me. You will see it again, because I'm here with you.
Lisa. Why did you take so long to find me? I missed you so much.
Daniel. Let's go home, Daniel.
As the screen fades, we cut back to the moment before the tragedy began. Lisa, fully aware of the dark future approaching, ignores it to call the family to the dinner table. As they gather, a young Daniel then hands us a camera, and the realization hits. We aren't just the observer, we took the photo and captured the family's last moment of peace.
Thank you.
After the credits roll, we cut to the Leviathan Corporation brain department, just moments after the Leviathan network goes down. We see the player taking off his dive helmet, and in a moment of silent respect, they raise a toast to the computer that is now inoperable. We then cut to the transition room. Center stage is a bathtub filled with Daseem, and as the camera pulls in, we see the real Daniel McGovern. He's hooked up to a morbid web of tubes while his body is wasted away. And as the camera lifts, Daniel has finally decided to let go. After holding on for decades, enduring torture, waiting for someone to help set his sister free, he finally dies. We then cut to the containment room and see artifacts of their trauma, including a book of 1984, Lisa's camera, and a tape recorder. We then see Lisa hanging upside down in midair, bound in a straitjacket. The room then suddenly distorts, glitching into darkness. And when the visual snaps back to normal, the room is empty. Lisa is gone, and after decades of imprisonment by the corporation, she's finally free. So why were we the ones to break the cycle? Throughout the game, we see evidence of other agents, other divers who failed. They treated Daniel's mind like a crime scene, a place to be strip-mined for data. But we were different. We encountered the memories of Sean, Rachel, and the others. We didn't just observe. We engaged and felt the horror of their situations. It was empathy that allowed Lisa to see us not as another tool of Leviathan, but as an ally. The cognitive virus wasn't just a bomb, it was a test. a test of humanity in a world that had completely lost it. When Karma, the Dark World released, it honestly flew under the radar, but those who played it praised the Unreal Engine 5 visuals, which are honestly some of the best I've seen in the indie space. It also got high praise for the 1984-inspired atmosphere, but it also got dinged on its gameplay. At the core, this is a walking simulator with some puzzles and some scares. If you're looking for complex mechanics or combat, you're not gonna find it here. And for a lot of people, the story was just too hard to follow, myself included, because I didn't get a full understanding of the story after my first playthrough, which inspired me to make this video. But I also think the criticism misses the point. Karma isn't trying to be a fun video game or a terrifying horror indie. It's trying to tell a deep, oppressive story. The sluggish movement, the confusing narrative, they're features designed to put you into Daniel's deteriorating headspace. And speaking of headspace, we have to talk about the influences here, because Pollard Studio has quite a few. First, there's the massive Death Stranding vibe running through this whole game. You see it clearly with the Dasein, the thick black liquid that corrupts everything it touches. It's almost a direct visual parallel to the chiral tar in Death Stranding. And then you also get surreal moments like Rachel and Lucas flying surrounded by floating whales. That to me just looks like pure Kojima imagery. But the horror here feels distinct because it matches sci-fi with George Orwell's 1984. And the game isn't subtle about this. You literally work for the Thought Bureau, which is a direct nod to Orwell's Thought Police. The entire game is built around the fear of surveillance, where even your private memories are state property. The brutalist architecture, endless CRT monitors, and the constant paranoia grounds the theme in political fear. And finally, there's Twin Peaks. We've talked about the surreal imagery, but it goes much deeper than that. It's the dream logic. The way the game transitions between the mundane office setting and the horrific nightmare feels incredibly inspired by David Lynch. It captures that specific feeling of the uncanny, where everything looks normal on the surface, like a family dinner or a hospital room, but feels deeply, fundamentally wrong. Ultimately, Karma the Dark World is a story about memory as a form of resistance. Leviathan wants to control everything, not just what you do, but what you think and what you remember. But the game also argues that you can't have the light without the dark. You can't have the perfect family photo without acknowledging the tragedy that came afterwards. And Daniel's sacrifice proves that while corporations can still control the physical world, they can't colonize the human soul as long as someone is left to remember the truth. Have you played Karma before? If so, what did you think about it? Drop a comment below. Also, if you enjoy gaming analysis content like this, then like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. This is West Coast Ninja, signing out.